Okay. So this is your session two. And so let's just talk a little bit what happened last time. The first session, you all started in an inn in Daggerford. While you were there enjoying your evening, and you were having a drink, eating a meal, you were confronted by the chance to avenge a fallen townsperson who burst into the inn and screamed about werewolves. When you had a chance to avenge him and aid the rest of the town by killing said werewolves. Um, Without asking any real questions, you all jumped to action, ran out the door, and that's a DM's dream. And when you were into the woods, you followed a blood trail, a pretty heavy blood trail. You were greeted by two strange men looking for their friend. Um, you all agreed after questioning them pretty heavily. You all agreed to escort them around looking for their friend, and probably some of you thinking that the friend might have been the werewolf in question.
Big time.
But as you were in the
He
woods
was
looking around, the two men ran off thinking they heard their friend, and you were overtaken by a strange mist which rolled into a fog. And each of you fell asleep in the mist after seeing and hearing and feeling some strange things that were happening around you. And you awoke in a strange land. You followed a road that led to what your warlock uh, told you were large gates with statues on either side. You were encountered by wolves and what seemed to be the rotting, decaying corpses of men, possibly zombies. As you were dealing with them, you were confronted by a man that rode up in unnaturally fast fashion in a carriage, stood up, and proclaimed that she is mine, but then was enamored by one of your party slightly. But then he welcomed you to the land of Barovia, got back in his carriage, and rode off into the mist. And that is where we'll pick up this week. You all are standing in the middle of this road. Some of you a little worse for wear. You might have been bitten, beaten, scratched, something by the wolves and the zombies that were around you. Uh, but here you are in the middle of this muddy road in a land that you're not aware of. These gates that you were heading to in the distance. Um, what do you do? We'll start off. Y'all want to talk about it? We're going to try something different because we had a little talky over. Um, if it's a real big decision, somebody's phone is going newts, which is fine. I think it's funny. I'm just going to go. I'm going to ask you individually. So, but this is something you all. I'm going to let you all talk it out. What do you want to do?
So, just to clarify,
Mm-hmm.
one direction we have the gates that Elrin found
Yes.
and described to us, and is where we were heading.
Yes.
The opposite direction is the direction we came from, unknownness, and the direction Strahd rode off in, correct?
Correct. But it is mostly covered by mist.
Okay.
By the mists.
My vote is we go towards the gates.
I agree. At least give us a landmark to start with to figure out where we are.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody cool with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
Unfortunately, Brittany can't be here tonight. So if Tanner, you know her, you're familiar with her familiar.
Yeah.
So at any point in time, if you need the familiar to do anything, just let me know. I have the stats for it as well. We can just say
Sweet.
Yeah, we can just say she summons her familiar, and actually her familiar is probably still summoned.
Yeah, I think it doesn't it last like for an hour or until
No,
she
the
dims
familiar
it away.
sticks around, man, until you dismiss it or it dies. It takes an hour to cast it. If you don't
Courtney, check your phone.
if you don't use a spell slot, it takes an hour to cast. All right. Are y'all heading towards the gates then?
Yep.
Okay. The fog spills out of the forest to swallow up the road behind you as you walk forward. You walk what seems to be a silent forest. You can hear the mud squishing beneath your boots, the twigs and the rocks being crunched as well. Ahead of you, jutting from the impenetrable woods on both sides of the road, are high stone buttresses. What you saw the last time, when you were fighting Strahd. And the gates hang on the stonework, and dew clings with cold tenacity to rusted bars. The two statues of armed guardians flank the gate, weeds growing up around their feet, and they greet you only with silence. Still a
I
ways
want
off.
to.
Pardon?
No, go ahead. Before we go into the gates, I want to do something.
Okay. You're still a ways off. Go ahead and tell me what you want to do.
When we get closer to the statues, I want to take a closer look at them. I want to see if there's, with as moist as the environment is,
Sure.
I want to, is there moss or lichen growing on them? Is it pockmarked, indicating like acid rain type weather, or?
Go ahead and make a nature check in advance, and then I'll
Okay.
let you know what you find when you get there.
All right.
As you're going along,
Let me know when you want that result.
go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
saw your mouth move, but I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
My result was a 9.
9. It's enough to know that this seems like early morning dew to you.
Mm-hmm.
There is moss, a little bit of like, these are old statues.
Yeah.
Other than that, you can't really tell, what's going on with it, what the environment really is or anything like that. They just look old, and the stone, as as stone gets older, it does tend to, rolling stones gather no moss, but that's for ahead of time. So just keep that in mind. Sorry, I got ahead of myself as well.
You're good.
As you're traveling on, the towering trees whose tops are lost in heavy gray mist, they block out all but like a death gray light in this land. There's no sunshine. You can tell it's morning, but that's about as far as it goes. And the tree trunks around you notice you are unnaturally close to one another. The woods have the silence of a forgotten grave. It exudes the feeling of an unvoiced scream. This place is creepy.
Do I get the feeling that it's? Obviously, there's a supernatural element.
I'll give that to you. You can tell.
Um,
The world you live in is a supernatural world.
Yeah, it's more. Is this
Is this
abnormally? We've already encountered zombies, and somehow mist teleported us here from where we were. But
Give me one more nature check.
all right,
Druid, do you want to help him? Or
No, because you asked me to do it, so no.
16.
16. There is something very unnatural about it.
I was gonna say, because there's this very haunting feeling when you walk outside first thing in the morning and there's all this mist and fog and everything. But then there's being in a graveyard and it's creepily silent and there's mist and fog.
Right. More the graveyard.
Yeah.
As you're walking along, Kaylin, you catch a scent in the air.
What do I think it is?
You know this to be the scent of death in the air. And it's,
Well,
as you walk along, you can smell it, and it's growing stronger.
can I might regret asking this question.
Mm-hmm.
Can I follow the scent?
Yes, you can, but I'm going to have to make you do a perception check.
Hold on.
We're still not up to the.
Courtney, here's your chance. Do it.
No, I'll do it at the end. 24.
Good Lord.
I texted Courtney to, when you asked for her first roll of the night, use the plush D20 that y'all can see in the background, and she wouldn't do it.
Oh.
I'll do it at the end. It's okay.
Yes, you can pinpoint this, no problem. No problem. It wasn't that high of a DC anyways. Yeah, you definitely know where it's coming from.
So I'm going to look at the party and tell them that I smell death and it's coming from that
Your
direction.
Left, yeah, your left, about what you can tell is about 15 feet from the road. There's a bit of underbrush.
We should go check it out.
Okay.
All right.
I lead them to the smell of death.
That scent leads you to a human corpse that's half buried in this underbrush.
Mm-hmm.
The young man appears to be a commoner as you pull back the brush. His clothes are muddy and absolutely raked with claw marks. You can tell that crows have been at the body for some time now. And the body is surrounded by paw prints in the mud.
So werewolf potentially.
Normal.
The paws
Small.
are not that big. They're bigger, but they're not that big. The man has
So-
obviously been dead. You can tell by the smell and the way he looks. He's been dead for several days. And in his right hand, clutching, he holds a crumpled envelope.
I'm gonna take the envelope. And I want to see what the envelope contains.
The envelope actually, the envelope has a large wax seal and it has a bee set into it, a large flourished bee. As you open the envelope, the parchment is worn and flimsy. If you read it, and it's actually in common.
Okay.
It says, "Hail to thee, O might and to thee of might and valor. I, a lowly servant of Barovia, send honor to thee. We plead for thy so desperately needed assistance." It's all in cursive. It's hard to read. "The love of my life, Irina, has been afflicted by an evil so deadly that even the good people of our village cannot protect her. She languishes from her wound, and I would have her saved from this menace. There is much wealth in this community. I offer all that might be had to thee and thy fellows, if thou shalt answer my desperate plea. Come quickly, for her time is at hand. All that I have shall be thine. And it is signed, Koylin Endrovich.
Okay.
What?
Sorry, Endurovich. Some of these names are kind of hard, and I apologize. I
What was
actually
his name
practice
again?
that letter a lot, but the cursive is really hard to read sometimes.
Does it just say Endurovich?
No, his name is Kolyan, Kolyan, Endurovich, Indirovich.
Did the letter have like a location on it? I don't remember if you mentioned that.
He said the only thing it says is he's a servant of Barovia.
On the envelope, did it say where he was gonna take it to?
No,
Okay.
there's no return address.
I
Did you
just
say
don't know.
if there was like any fancy sigil on the envelope or
Wax
anything?
seal with a B set into it.
Okay, so mm, Jacob's experience and Ellen Teal's experience are not the same thing here.
Correct.
Jacob's experience with wax seals would be that the letter would be the name of the house, which doesn't match up. Would that match up with Ellen Teal's experience with a wax seal?
Make a history check.
Did we break the wax seal, or was it already broken when we found the letter?
She broke it when she.
I
opened
broke it.
19.
There are several different kinds of wax seals that you're familiar with. One could be of the town, especially since I apologize, I did not put his title at the end. It's Burgomaster, which is, well, from now on we will call mayor. He's kind of the mayor of this town, of wherever he is. So it could be, the B could be for the town. It could be for a family crest, anything like that.
Can I tell? I know you said there were like footprints and stuff, like paw prints. Can I tell specifically what killed him?
Make a medicine check.
Also, did you say how fresh those particular footprints? I know he's been dead for a while, but did they like come back,
You
or
need to make a survival check.
can I make a survival check?
Yes.
And I'm
I got
gonna
a.
scout around the perimeter, just keep an eye out around.
All right, Enoch, make a perception check.
I rolled an 18.
Okay.
How close to what were the statues of? Remind me.
Armed knights.
Okay, so they're people. They're
Yeah.
not creatures.
Kaylin, what'd you get?
I got a 16.
16. Definitely bite marks, claw marks. Looks like some sort of wild animal got to it.
Okay.
The survival check, the prints around are not fresh. I mean, they're probably a couple of days old, just like the body. Perception check.
11. I guess no one's coming.
You catch the hint of a howl, a lone wolf howl, far off in the forest.
Does anybody else hear it?
Nope, just him. He's the one listening and looking.
Okay. No,
I'll let
I
it-
just realized that for the first time in probably ever, my passive perception is
It's
so bad.
It's not bad. It's not great. Enoch, you're letting everybody know.
But, hey, there's a howl out yonder in the woods.
Can I ask Mulgar to look at the bites and stuff on the body, see if he knows what it could possibly be?
I don't know. Can you?
I would
Mulgar?
do that. Yes.
All right.
I do track animals on a side hustle, so I probably know a thing or two.
Mulgar, I
There
will
you
give
go.
you your choice. You can either make a nature check or a medicine check. Um, one is going to be a little higher than the other, but I'm not going to tell you which one.
I'm gonna do medicine because surprisingly it's a little higher.
Okay, go for it.
21.
Lord. Yeah, perfect. These bites and claw marks are definitely larger than a wolf, and you've seen these before in your travels. Being a druid, you would know that these are the marks of a dire wolf.
I would relay that to the party.
My question from earlier, but it just got answered. Whether these were larger than a standard canine, larger than a standard wolf, or
That would definitely be.
significantly larger than a standard wolf.
They are significantly larger than a standard wolf. This man did not die well. This man died hard.
I want to bury him before we go.
I do also have a question about the howl
Mm-hmm.
in particular. Did it sound like it was coming? I know it was far away, but did it kind of sound like it was coming towards us?
That one would be hard to tell, but the three that are happening right now as you are listening, that are much louder that everybody can hear, sound like they're growing closer to you.
And how far away are we from the gate?
Not very. Within sprinting distance, if that.
I'd
50
say if we're
feet.
getting attacked again, let's put our backs to the wall so they can't get behind us.
Mulgar would like to wild shape.
What is Mulgar wild shaping into?
I would like to. Well, first question, Ronnie, help me out here. Have I seen a dire wolf? Because if so, I'm doing that.
Is that a dire wolf is a challenge rating 1. What circle are you?
Of the moon, I howl with the
you
moon.
would be able to change into a dire wolf, yes.
I'm gonna do that, and then I'd like to make a check because they have advantage on perception checks. I got that keen hearing and smell, and I want to see maybe if I can tell how many or how fast they're coming towards us.
Okay. So go ahead and make that perception check as you all hear not only 3 howls but 5 now.
Are they? Can I see them, or do we just hear
Nope,
them?
you just hear them.
Okay.
But go ahead and make a perception check as well then, since you asked.
Okay.
Okay, so I had advantage, but I rolled low both times, so I guess I was not paying attention. I rolled 9 total.
It's hard to tell. But they do sound closer, as I said, than the first one. But it's hard to tell where they're coming from. What'd you get, Ellentil?
3.
3? You don't have a clue where they're coming from. You know they're coming.
I'm not even positive I'm hearing them.
Right. It could be him. You just saw your druid change into a wolf.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Guys, can you just back away from this area?
I'm
I
gonna follow
do-
Enoch.
Okay. No question.
I'm gonna try to bark
Yep,
the same
let's go.
thing to. I'm gonna try to bark the same thing to Mulgar, thinking it'll work.
I have
Yep.
my greatsword in my hands.
Okay. And y'all are making your way towards the gates, right?
How close are we to the gates? Like,
As you're
is
making
it
your way, you're
reasonable for
less
me to
than-
say that I would rather back towards the gates than
Mm-hmm.
than facing them?
If you're backing towards the gates, you're probably, as you're coming back, we're just going to say that you're backing, or you're all going, your goal is to get absolutely towards the gate, right? Like back against the gate.
Yeah.
So as you're going, you hear the howls coming closer and closer. You don't know where they are, but they seem to be growing. 6, 8, 12 distant I mean, there's a lot, and you hear several low rumbling growls. But as soon as you get within 10 feet of that gate, the two wooden doors inside the gate swing open.
Towards
Yes.
us or into the
Well, they're
town?
just open towards you. Enoch, what's up?
If there's ever a break in the howling, I'm going to start meowing in between. See if I can throw
Meowing?
them off. Yeah, to like kind of throw my voice in a different area.
That's going to be a performance check because I don't know if you can throw your voice or not.
Okay.
Okay, remind me, what class are you?
He's a
Fighter.
fighter.
Okay.
You definitely make a convincing meow, but you can't really throw your voice. It's
Abstract.
but the gates, but the doors in the gate. Now the gates are huge, so there are doors, smaller doors for people to walk in and out of. Okay, so the gates are mostly for what would seem to be for seasoned adventurers and travelers as yourself. They will probably open the gates for large convoys, carriages, wagons, anything like that. But the doors are for travelers on foot, and those doors, as you all are growing closer, swing wide open. Yes, Kaylin.
So we previously heard voices and sounds echoing all around us, not being able to really pinpoint where they were coming from.
Correct.
In the fog, do I feel like it's the same type deal, or
You
we
could.
just like it's more animals?
You could, if you had not seen at least 4 to 5 wolves pop their head out about 60 feet in front of you.
Oh, okay. Well,
When
that
the-
answers my question.
When the doors and the gates open behind us,
Mm-hmm.
I instinctively whirl. I don't swing, but when you're expecting a fight and all of a sudden there's somebody behind you you weren't expecting,
Mhm.
that kind of instinctive rapid spin, I do that.
Turn
Is it-
around.
Yeah.
Yeah. The doors are wide open, leading to more road. But in the distance, you do see, through the fog a little bit, you see tall structures. They're kind of trying
Can
to
I
fight
see
their
who
way.
can I see who opened the door?
No one that you can see.
I like that.
2 options: stay on this side, or we back up through the doors and it becomes a smaller opening for them to come through.
Yeah, I think that's the move. Is
That option.
I start ushering you guys, to go through the door, and I'll be the last one through the door.
The wolves start multiplying on the road as you all are making your way through the door. And it seems forever. They just keep coming. Till there's about 20 wolves on the road behind you.
Hmm.
And as Enoch goes through the door, and Mulgar goes to the door, and Kaylin goes to the door, Elantil, as you are the last one out, you see these 20 wolves lined up on the road behind you, with 5 dire wolves flanking them, coming out of the woods.
So are there a total of 25?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they're just growling and looking at you, and slowly advancing.
Close the door.
Right.
Are you stepping
I'll
back?
grab him and pull him back.
So you grab her and pull her back?
Yeah. Sorry.
I let him.
Okay.
Um,
And as soon
just
as you
kind
pull
of
her
that-
through the doors, whoom, and slam shut in front of you.
is there anybody standing there?
No. As you look around, there is no one standing there.
Okay, that definitely doesn't make me feel any better. I
I'm gonna
feel
start
like we just got herded into here by these wolves. I feel like this is where they wanted us to go.
What does it look like behind these gates? Are there like
These are massive gates. You can tell that these are old stone gates, like a wall, or I mean metal gate. Sorry, stone walls. On the other side, there are no statues. There's nothing really. There's just a long road leading to what could be buildings in the distance. Could be maybe, I don't know.
Is there like
Sorry,
a,
Ellerin came through too. I forgot. Unfortunately, Brittany's not here, but Ellerin came through too. Don't want to
is
leave
there
him
like
on
a,
the other side.
Is there like a viewport in the door?
No, these are solid.
Is there like stairs up to the top of the wall, like people? Okay. Because I really
Not
want
that
to know
you
if
can
those
see.
wolves are still
These
there.
walls stretch into the woods on either side of you, but the parts that are on either side of the wall, the wall that are on either side of the woods, there's no real way to get on top of the wall or anything like that, and there's no battlements or anything that you can see on top, but they are very tall.
Darn, I thought I had an idea, and then I remembered I used it last week.
Can I make? You said there was like just woods and stuff near us, and then up the road there are like buildings. Can I make a perception check still as a direwolf to see if there is potentially like a scent of someone near
Sure.
us?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
22.
You smell fire. You smell like a fireplace, not like a wildfire. There's a difference. You can smell almost like the scent of a wood burning fire or wood burning stove, a little bit of food, and the smell of people coming from that direction. You can definitely smell other humans,
From the
other
buildings.
humanoids. Hmm?
Okay, I guess I would turn back into a human, and I guess I would let them know that this is what I smell. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
Can I
Yeah.
still hear the wolves on the other side of the gate?
You would have to put your ear up to the gate,
Okay.
up to the door.
Yeah.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
You hear shuffling on the other side of the door. Lots of shuffling and low growls. And you put your ear a little bit closer, and the door boom rattles against you, almost hitting you in the head. And you hear this howl and this guttural, savage growl from the other side.
Okay. I do not feel good about where we are.
I think we should move towards where I smell signs of people.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you lead the way. Since you have a general idea of where they are. But I'm not putting my sword away.
I have one more question. So if we're going to start walking, does the ground look like it's been used? Like maybe did the people come this way a lot or no?
It's easy enough to tell that there are wagon tracks in the ground. I'm really shocked that y'all didn't ask this before, but yeah, there are wagon trails or tracks in the ground. There are footprints, and it just looks well used, like a well-traveled road.
Do
Not-
the tracks look fresher than the body?
I'm sorry?
Do the tracks look fresher than the body?
Oh,
we
from
found?
back there?
Yeah.
No. They were the same age, roughly. From what Mulgar could tell, they were both about a couple of days old.
Okay.
Did y'all
So
make
that
your
makes-
way
that makes
toward...
me feel-
Huh? I'm sorry?
That at least we know that he hasn't gone unnoticed because by lack of caring.
Right.
It's nobody
Oh,
has come.
you're talking about
this
the
way.
wagon tracks. Yeah, they're a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
older. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And y'all are making your way towards where he said, correct? Y'all make your way up the road a little more. Tall shapes, as I said, loom out of the dense fog that surrounds everything. The muddy ground underfoot after a certain amount of travel, gives way to slick, wet cobblestones. The tall shapes become recognizable as village dwellings. The windows of each house stare out from pools of blackness. No sound cuts the silence except for what you can hear as a mournful sobbing that echoes through the streets from a distance. As you make your way there, there is a old, damaged wooden sign that says Village of Barovia.
Okay.
As you all stand at this sign, looking around, you hear a deep call coming from one of the rooftops. You look up, and there's a raven that's watching you from a rooftop off to your right. Just watching you, and every once in a while gives a peck on the roof, and then flies away.
Does he keep following from rooftop to rooftop?
No,
Or
it was looking at you all and cawing, and then it flew away.
Which direction did it fly? Like,
Into
did
the
it
town.
fly to?
Towards the center
Can
of
I
the town.
follow it?
Sure.
Yeah, I'd like to follow it.
Okay. You all walk into this town. It's pretty much a straight shot. There are multiple houses on each side of you, probably 3 apiece. At one time, these houses probably were very nice for this village. The street stretches out ahead. There are several offshoots, as you can tell up through there. The funny thing is, even for early in the morning, there's nobody really out. Each of the houses that you come across, there's no light in the windows. Each looking run down. Some of the windows are broken. Some of them are boarded up. There are businesses here that have long been shut down. But you do see smoke rising from the center of the village, from a chimney. And there you see the raven fly towards that smoke and light. Somewhere in the distance. But there are multiple houses that are around you right now.
Okay.
Give me 1 second and I will show you what you're looking at. I think I can. Give me 1 second.
I'm gonna step away for a second. I'm gonna go grab another drink.
Okay, no problem. Let me see if I can actually share my screen with you guys real quick.
So nobody's gonna make a joke about how the dead guy, as the lowest servant of the land, actually was in the land. Like, no, okay.
Ba-dum-bumch.
Hey, that's what I'm good for.
All right, I am sharing my screen with you right now.
Ow. Do we have a "you are here"?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what direction did we come in at?
Okay, you see the compass at the bottom, north, south, east, west?
Yeah.
Came in from the east.
Okay.
That's your right. Yeah, that
So-
one.
So just from like the far east.
No, you see the road? I'm pointing at the map right now, and I don't know why. but the road is right there in the center. There are multiple houses. There are offshoots on the road. You've made it about where you could turn left or right or keep going straight ahead. You see the smoke coming about from where I'm going to go ahead and tell you to look at E1. That is E1 and E2 is where you see smoke rising from rooftops.
Do they seem like larger buildings in the town?
You would have to get a little closer to see.
Okay.
So as we walk that direction, do we see any of these houses or buildings that have any sign of life in them?
Make a perception check. I'm going to cut the map now.
21.
Okay. I do have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
The two things you said that we saw smoke rise.
What's your question? And Kenny has gone sideways.
Does the amount of smoke seem like there's a fire going, or like they
Looks like
are
a chimney.
on fire?
Chimney smoke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So your perception check is a 20 what? Everything?
21.
Yeah, I figured that. I forget. I keep asking the monk to do wisdom things. There are some signs of life. Some. But you see mostly just black windows, boarded up windows, cracked, some doors have been boarded up. You hear hush whispers, maybe, shutters closing, things like that.
So no one that seems like they would talk to us.
Not that you could, not that it seems like.
Okay. Well, then I'll tell the party that I don't think we're gonna get any information here, so we might want to start walking towards where the smoke is.
Like, I'll start yelling out, "Hello, hello, new visitors here, hello."
You do get one man that pokes his head out. You see a door open off to your left in a smaller home, and he looks out, and he's dressed completely in gray and black clothing, and he looks at you with a sullen, almost emotionless face, almost, and says, "I would move along if I were you."
Well, where are we so we can move along from?
You're in the village of Borovia.
Wait, you said that. Okay.
Do I see him as well?
Yeah, everybody sees him.
I tell him, I say, where can we find your burrowmaster?
And he looks at you with the same dull look. He goes, "Our burgomaster is dead. If you want help or any more information, look elsewhere."
Okay.
I will tell you this. Follow the street. You'll run into the Blood of the Vine Tavern. And across the street from that is Bildrath's Mercantile. And then without another word, he turns his back on you and walks in his house and shuts the door. And you can hear it click.
Hey.
Seems odd to me that they know that he's dead. They
Yeah.
just left him out there.
You talking about the guy with the letter?
Yeah.
I don't think that was mayor.
Assume. Maybe not. Yeah.
Now remember,
why would the mayor be delivering the letter himself?
The guy that you found was dressed as a commoner.
That's right. Okay. Yeah.
So they killed the messenger. I mean, that's just...
Yeah. Okay. So the messenger died. Burrowmaster's also dead.
So our next stop is going to be that tavern. We could probably maybe see if there's anybody else there to get some more information.
Yeah.
What did you say the name of the tavern was?
Blood of the Vine.
That sounds very ominous.
Not really. It's a fancy term for wine.
As you make your way up the street, a single shaft of light thrusts illumination into the main square. This brightness looking like a solid pillar in some heavier fog. Above the gaping doorway, a sign hangs precariously askew, and it proclaims that this to be the Blood on the Vine Tavern. Closer inspection, I should say, you can tell where someone has scratched an N over the F, kind of scratched out the F and scratched in an N, making it read Blood on the Vine. This once fiercely appointed tavern has grown very shoddy. You can tell over years of neglect. As you open the door, there's a blazing fire in the hearth, but it gives scant warmth. There's a few huddled souls inside. You look around and there are 3 women sitting together in one booth, a man at a corner table, and the barkeep standing behind the bar, fiercely cleaning glasses. The 3 women that are sitting together at a table are brightly dressed, and they seem to be laughing and having a good time amongst themselves, not loudly, but they are brightly dressed, wearing brightly dressed clothes, drinking. The young man at the bar, or I mean, not at the bar, but at the corner table, across from them, but back in the back corner, is just sitting there with a glass of a goblet of wine. That you can tell it might be wine, but it's a goblet. And there's a pudgy little man that's behind the bar. Like as I said, the barkeep, just fiercely cleaning glasses, looking at them, making sure they're clean, sets it down, cleans another one, and keeps going down the line, cleaning all the glasses.
What happens when he gets to the end of the line? What's he do?
Are you all just watching from the door?
Fantastic question. No.
I mean, you open the door.
What happened when we opened the door? Did they react at all?
The young man in the back, he looked up and looked at you curiously.
Mm-hmm.
There is some life in his eyes, you can tell. And he looks at you. And the other 3 women, they look at you, each of you, and they lean in and whisper to each other and laugh and continue drinking and talking.
Okay.
The barkeep pays no
notice.
mind to you.
Okay. I approach the barkeep.
This man looks at you and just looks up and then continues cleaning glasses.
I say, as you can probably tell, we're not from around here. We're not really sure where we are. But on the road just outside of town, outside of the gates, we did find a body with a letter from your town's burrowmaster. So clearly, wherever he was trying to deliver that, it did not make it.
Just continues cleaning.
And I'm curious about room and board.
There's no room and no board here. Would you like something to drink?
Yes. I'd like a glass of water.
He actually, he looks at you, no expression on his face, takes a glass, turns around, dips it in a bucket behind him, and sets it on the the counter in front of you, and then continues cleaning glasses.
I
Does the
skip
water
up.
look clean?
No. It looks like a bucket of water has been sitting there for a minute.
I skip up and I say, I want a glass of wine.
We have Red Dragon Crush, Purple Grape
How
Mash
old
number
is
3.
Caitlin?
120 something.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not legal drinking age for elves, ma'am.
Whichever one you recommend.
He just looks at you and he takes a glass and he pulls up a bottle from behind the bar, pops the cork on it, and you can read on the label it says Purple Grape Mash number 3. It says in big bold letters, and he pours it, and it's a purple wine, and he hands it to you, and he says 1 copper piece.
I gave him one.
And he just slides it off, puts it in his pocket, and continues cleaning glasses.
Since you don't offer room and board, where might we find accommodations?
And he just looks at you again, and he cleans the last glass that's in the row. And then he turns and he walks to the other side and begins cleaning the glasses again.
That's what I thought he was going to do when he got to the end of the row. I order a drink. I want whatever the house ale is.
No ale. Just wine.
Just wine.
We all leave.
I still haven't gotten to enjoy my wine. Do I notice anything different about this wine compared to
It's
wines
not
I've
bad.
had?
I mean, it's good wine. It's actually very good wine.
I put
Cheap price as well.
a gold piece on the counter, and I ask about room and board again, whether it's in his tavern or somewhere else in town.
Did you and you ordered a glass of wine, correct?
I have not. He told me there was no ale, so I haven't corrected myself yet.
And he just looks at you and looks at the gold piece and says, "Would you like a drink?"
I would like a drink, but I'd also like a place that I can sleep safely.
We only have drinks here. And at that point, you hear the table, or you hear a chair slide across the floor like somebody's standing. And the young man in the corner walks over and says, and he looks at the barkeep, goes, "Eric, give me 2 bottles of grape mash number 3 and bring them to the table." And you see the pudgy little man behind the bar just nod and turn around and walk to the back. And the young man, who is blonde hair, kind of pale skin, he looks at you. He's a human. He says, "My name is Ismark. You're not going to get much out of Eric, so please join me at my table. We can make room. Please."
Okay, I'll
join
just.
me.
Okay, so before we get invited over there, I want to go talk to the 3 ladies.
You want to? Okay.
I want to go try and have a conversation. I'm not very charismatic, but I have some wine in me now. So
You've had less than a glass.
You had a sip. Easy. Don't do that in the mic.
I'm not in the microphone. I might be a lightweight. I don't know. We'll see. But I want to ask them if they've noted, like, what's been going on around the town and if they know a place that we might be able to stay.
Okay. While you're doing that, Ellen Teal and Enoch and Elrin, of course, is going to follow Mulgar or whoever. What are you all joining the young man?
Yeah, I follow him over,
Okay.
and
He actually pulls a small table over to his, and arranges a few chairs. At that time, you see Eric, the barkeep, come out with two bottles of wine and multiple glasses that he's holding in his fingers, and sets them down and sets the two bottles of wine down. You see the young man hand over the coin. You hear it jingle, and Eric, without a word, takes it, puts it in his pocket, in his apron, and walks behind the bar and starts cleaning glasses again. Enid, yes.
Before he turns around, we have some food as well.
And he just looks at you and says, "I have some bread."
If you don't mind, bring it on.
He walks to the back, and he comes back with a tray with this larger loaf of bread, and he sets it down, and you can hear it as he sets it down. It's pretty hard. A little bit of mold on the end, but and the young man just looks and says, "Please, just have a seat. Have a seat. Let me resolve Kaylin real quick."
Yeah, go for it.
As you walk up, you're walking up. These three women look at you, and they stop, and they smile, and they look at you and say, "Well," one of them looks and says, "What can we help you with, dear?" And she is dark complected. They're all very beautiful women. You can tell. One of them has hair in braids. The other one has her hair pulled back in a tight ponytail. They all wear bright purple, yellow, and red colors, almost like a beautiful patchwork on each of their robes, their outer garments. They're pulled together with brightly decorated belts and sashes, and they're sitting there, and they're having a pretty good time amongst themselves. But they stop and they get really silent, and they look at you and say, "What can we help you with, dear?"
I just arrived and I noticed that your town is very quiet and boarded up. And I was wondering, why is it so quiet and boarded up? And do you know of a place we might be able to stay for the night?
So you are new here? And they look at each other and they giggle and they laugh. And they stop and they say, "This is our place. This is the Blood of the Vine Tavern. You're not going to find a room here, and I can almost guarantee you that you won't find the room to stay in Barovia, the village of Barovia. You may be able to find someone's home that has been vacated, but that's about it. No one's going to stop you. But you being new here," and she stops, and she starts playing with the goblet of wine in front of her. The one that's talking to you. The other two are just staring at you, not menacingly or anything. They're just watching. She goes, "We are Vistani, and just because we own this tavern doesn't mean we aren't familiar with where we come from. You, young lady, and your compatriots that you walked in with, you need to see Madame Eva. Seek her out. You must know where you're going and where you come from. And she can tell you. Please, visit Madame Eva. You'll find her at the Seer Pool. Tser Pool. Madame Eva is very powerful, and she knows things. She can tell you where you should go from here."
How far is the location that I will
Follow
find?
the old Slavic road that you came in, and you keep going, and you'll know when you see it.
Okay, well, thank you for your help.
Oh no, thank you.
And I'll go walk back to the rest of the party and join them.
The young man looks at each of you as he's sit. My name is Ismark. If you ask someone around here, I'm Ismark the Lesser. I've spent my life in the shadow of my father, but I do love him. Loved him. I can tell that you all are seasoned adventurers, and I have. I hate to ask this. I just met you, but you look like you can take care of yourselves. I have a sister. Her name is Irina Kolyana. Irina Kolyana, and I need help protecting her. I need to take her to another settlement a ways from here named Valaki. It's in the heart of the valley, beyond the things here that may threaten her.
What thing is this that may threaten her?
This land is sick and has a disease in the name of Strahd von Zarovich. And he lowers his voice when he says this. He wants my sister for some reason. She's only safe in the house, and I need to move her beyond the view of his castle. It's not far from here. And if I can move her to Valaki, she may be beyond the reach of Strahd there. It's a gamble. And she's vulnerable to him when she's outside of our home. But I have heard assertions that Valaki is well defended.
Can you spell the name of this settlement?
Vallaki. Valaki.
Okay. I was hearing Balaki, like Blake from Key and Peele.
Valaki. I love that. Okay, but he looks at you and says, please, I can pay you. I just need to move. There's not anything left for her. And if that demon gets his hands on her, I don't know what I will do. She's the only family I have left. Please.
How long is the travel here to Valaki?
I would not be able to tell you that at this moment.
At this point, I gesture for Kalen. I gesture at Kalen and I tell Ismark that we found the remains of a messenger outside of the gates with a letter from who we have now found out to be his father.
What?
Or is it his father?
Yes.
Seeking help, but that clearly never made it to its destination.
Do you have this note?
I hand it to him.
And he opens it up and he looks and he goes, the love of his life. This is not my father's handwriting. This is not written by my father. Irina is his daughter. Now, she was adopted, yes, but he only views her as a daughter, not the love of his life. This is absurd. This is not his handwriting. You found this where?
Just outside the gates. The messenger had been killed by wolves a few days ago. We found him only from the stench of decay. If I had to wager a guess, he had been. It seems odd that he would have been hiding in the underbrush where we found him.
He takes and he drains his glass, and then he pops the cork on another bottle and pours it, and he starts pouring each of you a glass of wine. No, no, no. That's not right. That's not him. I don't know why it was there, and I don't know. This is not his handwriting. Please, please, come back to the mansion with me. I will introduce you to my sister Irina, and maybe she
Can
will.
I insight check his reaction when we told him about the body?
Sure.
I'm gonna crack a piece of the bread off and dunk it. In the wine.
6.
Hard to read. Very hard to read, but he seems like he's on the up and up. The wine actually helps a little bit, but you can still tell it's old bread.
That's fine. Straight up Olive Garden.
So if we do decide to go with him, Mulgar at some point wants to mention that we have met Strahd and sort of like tell him about that encounter. And he would probably look towards the party and be like, maybe we should go with this guy, to get some more information, because he did try to take Kaylin, and that's a little sus.
So, I mean, at this point, he's invited you back, and he's just waiting on your answer whether you're going with him or not.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
go.
I rise.
Okay.
Oddly without obstruction.
I want to chug my glass before we leave.
I'm
Okay.
taking it with.
He actually takes the 2 bottles and the corks, and he puts them in his bag. And
I was gonna
and
say he
stops,
paid
looks,
for them, so.
And he looks, and he pulls them back out, and he hands one. He hands them out. He just holds them out and says, "These are actually yours. I have no use for them." You take one, Enoch. Who else is taking the other? All right. Add to your inventory 1 bottle of Great Mash number 3.
Courtney, do you know how to add custom items to your inventory?
I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'm
If
still
not, just
trying.
write it down or make a note in your phone and I can help you later.
So if we haven't gotten there yet, when I mentioned to him that we've met Strahd, does he seem surprised?
As you were leaving, you mentioned that meets Strahd, that you have met Strahd. He looks at you and says, "And you're still here. So I've chosen the right people then."
I mean, he was pretty light work.
Yeah.
Something tells me you don't know what you're getting into. Nonetheless, whether you're stupid or brave, come with me. He leads you out. He actually stops and he says, "There's not much here. This village is dead. There are people that still live here. There are inhabitants here, but there's not much happening. People mull about. They don't have much to work for or live for. That's why the blood on the vine is, the blood of the vine is still here. If you don't have much to live for, you drink. And that becomes the reason for you sticking around." And he stops and he hears that low, mournful wail that you all heard before. And he says, "That is Mad Mary."
At Mary?
Yes. She lives up to her name quite a bit. But please, come with me. And he looks over and he says, "There." And he points to the building across the road. And he goes, "That's Bildrat's Mercantile. You can find anything you need within reason there. It is, Bildrat's Mercantile is basically their general store. So you would be able to buy maybe some supplies and stuff there," is what he's telling you. But he leads you down a road. The road that as from what I showed you, there is the road straight out of Barovia. There's a one off to the right, and as you come to the town, as you're standing in the town square, off to the right you can see a large church with a cemetery, and off to the left he leads you down the road to the left. And as you pass this large townhouse, you hear this mournful cry louder coming from that townhouse on the left. And he keeps walking. He says, "Just please follow me. There's not much you can do for her. There's not much anyone can do for her. And he leads you past all these houses that are run down and broken and dark. And he leads you to a weary-looking mansion that's looks like it's squatting behind a rusting iron fence. The gates are twisted and torn. And the right gate lies cast aside, while the left one swings lazily in the wind, but they're all twisted and torn apart. The stuttering squeal and clang of the gate repeats with mindless precision in the wind. Weeds rise up and choke the ground and press with menace against the house. Yet, against the walls, the growth has been tramped down to create paths all around the house, all around this domain. There's paths. As you walk towards the front door, you can see heavy claw marks have stripped the once beautiful finish of the walls on either side around the windows. Great claw marks. And great black marks tell of the fires that have assailed this mansion. Not a pane or a shard of glass stands in any window. They're all broken out. And all the windows are barred with planks, each one marked with stains, possibly of evil omen. Yes, Enoch.
I'm going to periodically look behind us as we're like walking and see if we're being followed by anybody.
That's pretty much easy to tell. Nobody's following you.
Okay.
You do, however, see a crow, or not a crow, but
The raven.
that's coming from the blood on the vine and lights on the house, not on Mad Mary's, but across the road, and is just watching you.
Is it this? Can I recognize it as the same raven from earlier?
Since it's the only raven that you've seen so far, chances are pretty good.
Okay.
Does it sit down somewhere like perch?
Yeah, it's on the roof, watching you. But Enoch's the only one that's seen it. Remember that. I'm telling all of you, but he's the only one that's seen it.
Okay.
Never mind then.
Yes,
I'm
Enoch.
going to flip a silver coin,
You're going to flip.
catch it, and he pays attention to it.
He's just watching you all.
Well, bugger off then. Like, I'll start talking to it.
I right as you said that, I was genuinely about to ask you if I had seen the raven from before anywhere.
That's it.
So can I say that I've seen it?
Yeah.
Okay. I ask Iskmark if he knows what that's about.
He looks back and he looks up and he sees it and he goes, I can honestly tell you, I don't know. In your time here, you'll see many strange things. Be wary. Strahd has many.
Because I asked
Strahd has
about
many spies and minions. So be wary. Because you asked.
When I asked Ismark about the raven, could Mulgar have heard that question?
Yeah, you're all together.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Kaylin.
Can I ask Ismark about Madam Eva and the whatever pool that I need to look for?
Listen, the Vistani, some are to be trusted, some are not. I've heard stories about Madam Eva, but what you do on your time is your business. I know nothing personally of Madam Eva other than the things that I've heard. So you make those decisions, but right now you have agreed to help me, and we're standing in front of my house. So please. And he opens the doors and says, come in. I will introduce you to Irina. And the interior of the mansion, as he opens the door, you can look in and see the interior of the mansion is very well furnished. Yet the fixtures around what you can see show really big signs of wear. There are noticeable oddities and on the boarded up windows, and looks like on the windows, on the boards that you can see on either side, it looks mainly there's some kind of symbol that's on them, painted on them. Are y'all going in?
I want to wait just a tad, just a moment.
Okay. Well, he steps in. He says, "Please come in. Come in."
I'll go in first, and as I'm passing by, I'm gonna clap him on the shoulder. Thanks for the invite, man.
He's sturdy. I mean, you can tell he's sturdy. But he's like, "No, you're welcome. Thank you for coming in. The rest of you, please come in. Come in."
I'll
And
come in.
Elrin is going to stay with Mulgar. I guess he'll follow you in.
I'll wait for Tanner or for Mulgar.
Yeah, so I'm gonna look at Ismark and I'm like, 1 second. I want to cast Speak with Animals, and I want to talk to the crow.
The raven that you see
Or the raven.
is kind of far off. He looks at you and says, "Please, there's time for this later. Please, come in." Do you still want to? Do you want to make your? You can make your way back out of the gate that you came through the yard, out the gate, and into kind of towards the center of the road and try to talk to him, the raven.
No, I think at this point I'll
Sure?
just wait.
No, I'm not trying to discourage you from that. I'm just
No,
saying
it's
it's
okay.
a bit of a distance. You can do whatever you want. I mean,
No,
this
since
well,
Ismark is
we've talked about
insisting.
this. Barovia, the land of Barovia. As you're playing this is sandbox. You go where you want.
No, it's okay. I think since Ismark is really insisting, probably getting a little irritated, I'll follow him, but I want to be a little more vigilant of the Raven next time when we leave.
As each of you walk in, there is you notice that these same symbols that are painted on the windows or on the boards on the window seem to be in some form or fashion all around the rooms, and you can look off each side. There's a sitting room off to the left, and there's a drawing room off to the right. And in the drawing room off to the right, you see a body laying on the floor, covered in a simple wooden coffin, surrounded by wilting flowers, and there's a faint odor of decay coming from this room. And he looks. This holy symbol is everywhere. It's on the coffin. On the sides of the coffin, or on the side of it, you can see it on several doors, and standing on the stairs, walking down to greet her brother, is Irina.
Can I make a? Do I recognize the holy symbol?
Make a religion check.
Seven.
Nope. It doesn't surprise you because you don't know really where you are.
Yeah.
You can tell it's a holy symbol. Given the placement and everything on it, but it does not look familiar in the least. A striking young woman. Irina is a striking young woman, and she has auburn hair, and she is dressed in simple leathers. At least seems to be leather armor that is pulled up tight around her neck, and flowing red out of the from the armor, a flowing red blouse. She actually has a rapier on her side, and she walks in and she looks at her brother and says, "Ismark, what is this?" And then he walks up and he says, "Please," and he starts talking to him. He's like, "Irina, these people have come to help us. They're going to escort you to Vlaki." And she starts shaking her head, and she says, "No, I told you, brother, I'm not going anywhere until our father is buried." And she looks at you each, and she goes, "Thank you for your help, but I am not leaving this home, not until my father is properly taken care of." And
Can I interject here and ask what's keeping them? I'm not trying to be indelicate, but it seems odd to me that he has not been buried.
Our father was the burgomaster of this town. There's not many people left in this town that give a damn one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's only Irina and myself. I don't want her to leave this home, and I can't bury a man by myself. I can't drag a coffin all the way up to the church from here. Strong-headedness. Oh, this is why I need your
I
help.
will tell him a little bit more about myself. Tell him that I was an acolyte in the temple in my hometown. Granted, different religion, but I would be more than happy to help lay their father to rest.
And Irina overhears this, and she looks at you and she goes, "Really? Then we must do it. We must do it tonight. Please. He's been here for so long, and it's not right how we've just ignored him and let him lay amongst flowers instead of giving him a proper burial." And she starts crying a little, and you can see that there is anger in her eyes, and she's fierce, yet she's holding it back. And she says, "But my brother won't let me leave. But with you, maybe he will." And she looks at each of you and says, "So, I would need you all to please. We have a wagon. We have something that we can carry my father to the church, and we can give him a proper. We can actually visit the brother, the priest, in the church." And she seems very excited. She's like, "And we can finally lay him to rest, where he won't be lying in the floor, forgotten."
I have a quick question.
Yes.
The coffin, you said it was just like a simple wooden coffin.
Simple wooden coffin.
Is it sealed?
It's open.
Did they
at this
nail
point.
it? You said it wasn't?
It is open.
Oh, it's open. Okay, never mind. That's it.
Okay. And he looks at each of you and says, "The coffin is sturdy. Irina and I built it ourselves. So please."
Is that customary here?
It is when your coffin maker is dead. It is.
I understand.
And he says, "She has spoken, and as you can tell, usually what she says goes. So I will get the wagon. Please, be careful, but if you would gather my father's body, our father's body." Yes.
Besides just you having issues taking it to the graveyard, is there anything else you want to tell us before we head on down there?
And he looks at you, and he looks at Irina, who has wandered off kind of to dry her tears, and standing there just kind of looking off into the distance. He looks at you and says, "I've told you that Strahd is drawn to her for some reason. I don't want her anywhere out of my sight. So that's the only reason we haven't done it. Is because I don't want her to leave here."
Insight check?
Yes, go for it.
19.
19? He's telling the truth.
Okay.
Yeah, he seems very, very honest. With a 19 also, though, he's being pretty tight-lipped about some stuff, too. You can tell that. Nothing insidious, but he's not telling you everything, but he is telling you the truth about what he's telling you.
At this point, I want to ask about the zombies that attacked us on the road. If that's a common
You met some of
thing.
the undead. Strahd has many minions, whether it be rats or bats or wolves, or those that he has brought back from death. And then there's some who have crossed over the threshold barely and come back with a thirst almost as great as his. These zombies were once Barovians. Some might call them mother, father, brother, son, daughter. But now they just long for flesh. So, enough. And he walks out and to get the wagon. Irina is still standing there, drying and looking, and with her arms crossed in front of her. And she looks at each of you and smiles and says, "Thank you." She adjusts the rapier on her belt and straightens up the leathers that she's wearing. Very nice leather armor. And she says, "Please, we must get going. Brother Donovich, he is waiting at the church, I'm sure." With that, yes. Enoch.
I'm gonna go over and take a look at the body. Is he wearing shoes?
Is he wearing shoes?
Yeah, shoes.
Yeah, he's fully dressed.
Can I tie his shoelaces together?
Are you going to do that?
I'm gonna try.
Irina is going to see. Well, are you going to do it stealthily, or are you just going to do it like loud and proud?
I'm gonna try stealth.
Make a stealth check.
Can I talk to Arena?
Make a stealth
while
check with
he's doing
advantage.
it? I want to talk to her about the leathers she's wearing.
Okay.
Because you said she's wearing them over her dress, right?
Yeah, just like you know how you wear a tunic underneath your armor.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Is in comparison with what she's wearing to what the women in the bar were wearing. Were they wearing leathers?
No, they were wearing straight up just their dress robe.
Okay.
Yeah. Tunics. Yeah.
I want to ask why a lady such as herself is wearing leather armor and is armed.
Enoch, what'd you get?
22.
Yes, you can do it.
Most ladies from where I'm from in the nobility don't generally wear such attire.
Well, I'm not sure where I'm from. So it must be nice where you're from. That young ladies don't have to protect themselves at every chance against fiends. And then she kind of trails off. And she goes, "And Strahd."
How many times has he tried to come for you?
And she, as you look, you notice her hand go up and do this number on the leather armor that's up around her neck. And she goes, "That's not important
As she,
right
as, how thoroughly does it cover her neck?
now." Up, like around the chin area, around the jawline.
So it comes all the way up to her jaw.
Yeah,
It's like a turtleneck.
yeah, kind of like a leather turtleneck, which sounds terrible.
I want is her brother wearing armor?
Yes.
Does it have the same fashion statement?
Yes, kind of, but not as high as hers.
Okay.
Okay, at this point,
Does-
after Enoch has tied shoes together,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the lid on the coffin at
Okay.
this point, like set it in place, make sure it's good to go.
Like you're getting ready to
yeah.
for us to
Right.
move it. Yeah.
She looks at you and says, "Enough. Please, I'm sure Ismark has the carriage, or has the wagon. Please." And she reaches down to grab one of the edges of the coffin and Each of you, who's helping?
I'll help.
Yeah, if I need to, I can help. I'm pretty strong.
You all pick up pretty easily. Kaylin, what are you doing?
I guess I can help if need be.
Well,
but
at this point, not really. There's 4
You
people
could get
on
the
it.
door.
You can hold the door. Yeah.
yeah, sure, I'll do that.
So you and Ellerin both hold the door open, and as you walk out, Ismark has pulled the carriage around, or pulled a wagon around, and he says it's straight from here, straight up the road, and he points to a church up the road a ways, and being you have traveled quite far, and you've spent a little time in the tavern and everything. It's past noon, or getting around to be noontime, but you can tell by the growl in your stomachs that it is going. It's well past breakfast. It's lunchtime, but there is no noontime sun in the sky. It's still gray and dark. You load the coffin in, and each of you, whether you decide to walk or ride, it is a lonely ride up this road, up this hill. And as you crest this hill, you can see the fog almost part. And above this church on this mountain, a slight rise. Behind it, there's a mountain. Against the roots and the pillar and the stone sits Castle Ravenloft, a large, massive castle, casting a shadow over a gray, sagging edifice of stone and wood. This church that you are approaching has obviously weathered the assaults of evil for centuries and centuries on end, and it's worn and weird. There's a bell tower that rises towards the back, and a flickering light shines through holes in a shingled roof, and the rafters that you can see straying feebly against their load. As you approach the church, the door opens and slightly, and a flood of light comes out, and you see an older man step out, and dressed in priest's robes, and he's holding around his neck, not holding, but around his neck hangs, and he's holding his hands in front of him is the same holy symbol that you saw in the house. And he looks at you, each of you, and has a wild-eyed look on his face. He goes, "Irina, Ismark, what brings you here?" And Ismark looks and goes, "We are burying my father tonight. These folks have decided to help us, so please, if you could say some words over my father's grave, I would appreciate it." And he looks at each of you and goes, "Yes, but after that, you go. Yes, yes, please, go." And Ismark and Irina both look at him and raise their hands and are like, "Yes, we will go. We will go."
Can I insight him? I'm
Yeah.
curious. What the deal is there?
Make an insight check. We'll do insight. Both of you, if you want to do separate ones, or if one wants to help the other.
I'll help him out.
Okay. Roll with advantage.
Is the raven still near us?
You don't see it.
9.
He looks very addled, but you don't really see anything wrong with him that you can tell. He just wants you to get out. You know, it could be the danger that Irina and Ismark told you about, but that's about it. As you all are approaching, you unload the coffin, and you start to unload the coffin, I should say. And Donovich looks at you and says, "Listen." Irina and Ismark goes, "I don't know them. I don't know them. I don't know them, but I know you all, and I trust you. So please, once it's done, you go home and you be safe." And they're looking at you and they're like, you say, "Okay, yes, please." Each of you that were carrying the coffin gather in the back, and Ismark looks and says, We will find a spot. I'm sure it won't take very long to dig a grave here.
Do we want to carry him to the graveside before the grave is dug?
Yes.
Okay.
Just as soon as two of you that are helping unload put your hands on the coffin, you knock down and you see a fog rolling in.
And my greatsword is in my hand.
The sound, not yet. Let me finish. And you hear a distinctive sound of wings flapping that is filling the air. And it gets louder and louder. Now the fog, a massive swarm of bats burst from the fog and fly in and pass and around and hit you in the head and bounce off of you. They're not really doing any damage, but the bats are everywhere and they're swimming around. And you hear Irina scream. And Donovich says, "No, no!" And he takes off running and he hits into the church. And at this point, you hear for a moment, once the bats swarm up and they swirl and they go up into the fog, you hear a low growl. And you hear and see wolves creeping out of the mist. And I need everybody to roll for initiative as I show you where you are.
Is Arena still here?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to intentionally keep her within arm's reach.
Okay. If I do it like this, can you all see it?
Yes.
Okay. This is where you all are.
Before you walk away from your computer, Ronnie,
Yes.
if you look at OBS,
Uh-huh.
can you collapse the stream chat so that
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
the map gets a little bit bigger?
Better?
Surprisingly, no. It just centered it.
That's what I was afraid
I thought that would work.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Oh well.
I apologize. I'll find a better way to do this, but this is what we've got for right now.
No, you're good.
And one day when we play in person, you'll be able to see the whole thing.
Yep.
All right. So. Oh, you're not supposed to see that.
I honestly don't know what you just told me we weren't supposed to see.
Good. Good.
I was looking at the fact that all of our minis are laying down like we're dead.
Yes.
Did you just wake up again? Is that what happened? Like,
Give me 1 second, guys. I apologize. There was one vital thing that I forgot about. If you can hear that,
Right.
I apologize once again.
I'm going to use this opportunity to step away for a second while you're getting everything set up.
I will do the same.
All right. Can you all hear me? Okay.
I can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do
So
you need anything
this
to
isn't
drink
quite
or
as
anything?
big as I want it to be, but we'll just say that's the wagon. Okay. So I'll turn it like this. And put you here, Jacob, Mulgar, here. Y'all tell me if you want different places. Since you all are the first two that help, the hand of God moves a rock. Here, that is Ismark with the 2 swords. And Arena draws her rapier. I know she's supposed to have auburn hair, but she has blonde right now, and she's standing right there. From out of the mists, 1, 2, rocks in the way, but oh well.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. So,
Tanner, what you eating?
I'm sorry. Oh, I made sausage balls this morning.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I was a little jealous when I saw that.
Yeah, me and Brittany woke up the other day and was like, you know what? It feels like Christmas. Let's do Christmas in October. So we went out and bought each other gifts, and then I was like, I'm gonna make sausage balls.
So, does anybody know, was Canadian Thanksgiving this week?
No.
Oh, he disappeared.
Who?
Jacob.
I'm here now. I don't know what the hell.
You don't have
All right.
camera.
With initiative, 20 to 25. Nobody? 15 to 20.
Oh no.
Really? 10 to 15.
13.
Okay. Um, 5 to 10.
8.
I got a 6.
We've rolled great, guys.
Yep.
Wait a minute. It goes Enoch, then Mulgar. And then, okay. I'm going to put Elrin at the bottom of the order. Okay, so. Cool. So, first in the order is going to be the Wolves.
Boo.
So, this one's going to go.
Towards who?
Can you show us where we are real quick?
Oh, sorry, yes. I thought I did that earlier. So, this is Mark. Here's Enoch.
Okay.
Elentil,
Mm-hmm.
Mulgar, Kalen, Irina, Elrin.
Can you put me within arm's reach of Arena?
On your turn.
Okay.
Oh no, he said that before.
You
did
said that
that.
before? Okay.
Yeah, I said I wanted to intentionally stay within arm's reach of her.
Sorry, buddy. All right. The first two are going to take bites. My boy Ismark. I need a tape. All right. First two are going to take bites of Ismark. That is a hit. And that is a miss. Alright. So Ismark, you see him get hit. The gray wolf takes a big chunk out of his thigh, or just latches onto his thigh. And you hear him yell out in pain. And as the other one comes up, he draws a short sword and a long sword. That's 5 points. So that's 6 points. kind of bats it away with his short sword. The next two are going to take bites out of Enoch. Shoot. There we go. That's what I should have done in the first place. Sorry, guys. Enoch, they're coming at you, buddy.
Okay.
Wow, dang. A 10 definitely doesn't hit.
Nope.
Does a 17 hit?
No.
Yeah, that's right, because you've got insane armor. You're able to get your shield up and push the first one off as it comes at you, and the other one you just kind of bat it away with the flat of your sword. They are growling and hungry. The next one's going to try to bite Mulgar. Mulgar, does a 19 hit?
Yes.
Okay. You take 7 points of piercing damage. And he just comes up and he latches onto the back of your calf. You feel his teeth sink into your calf. And he lets go, and the blood is dripping off of the maw of these things. That brings us to Kaylin. Kaylin, you're right here. What would you like to do?
Sorry,
It's all right.
I got Sour Patch Gummy
Nice.
in my mouth. Do me and what's her name? I'm blanking on it.
Elren Arena.
Arena. Do we have any wolves near us?
No. All the wolves are around Enoch, Ismark, and Mulgar.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'm gonna grab her hand and tell her to run, and because I'm kind of afraid of what I've experienced with Strahd, I kind of want to get out of here too, and we're gonna kind of start running towards the church. So if I can get her indoors at some point, that would be
First,
great.
make a persuasion check.
Two.
She looks at you and says, "No, you don't understand what he'll do if we run." And she has her rapier drawn, but she actually pulls away from you, or tries to. So, make a. Are you going to try to force her?
I kind of want to try to at least get her closer to the church. So if we need to get into cover. So at least like closer to the fence if I could pull her that direction.
So I'm going to make you do a strength check. That's going to be. Yeah, we're going to do a roll off to see what happens.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I got a 22.
Yeah, you grab a hold of her, and when you start running, she tries to twist away from you. But since you're pulling her, you're going to be at half speed.
That's fine.
Okay.
I just want us a little bit further away from the wolves.
So I'm going to do this. 5, 10, 15. Is that good?
Does she only get 30 movement?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Then yeah,
you're
that's fine.
actually saddling yourself with her movement. Okay?
That works.
Okay. Is that it for you?
Yep.
All right. Ellen Teal, you're up.
All right. So here's the deal. If I can get this to adjust. All right. Seen Kaylin grab her and start pulling her to the church. That pulled her relatively, in theory, closer to the wolf that's attacking Mulgar, correct?
Yeah, but he's kind of, the wolf that's attacking Mulgar is kind of
Preoccupied. Okay, so here's what I want to do. How far away am I from the wolf
That's
that's
attacking
attacking Mulgar? Yeah.
15 feet, 20 feet.
Okay. Let me move there. Gonna be a 9 to hit
On a
with the
wolf,
first attack.
that
Yeah.
unfortunately does not hit.
And we're only level 3, so yeah. Lovely.
You bring this great sword down and you hear it splash in the mud as the wolf is able to sidestep away and look at you with these yellow eyes and blood on its maw. Is there anything else you want to do?
I'm trying to double check.
I'm having a hard time hearing you, Jacob. Let me turn you up on my end.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Still gonna
Okay.
turn you up.
I had pulled back away from the mic again. I'm trying. Yeah, that's one action. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna do.
Okay. Enoch, you're up.
Oh, sorry. I want to use the. No, I'm in melee range now. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Enoch, you're up.
All right, I'm going to try to stab you with my sword.
Left or right? Gray or brown?
We'll go with the one on the right.
This one?
I thought that was Ismark.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, here we go.
So the one on the right. Yeah.
Go for it.
Does an 11 hit? I'm sorry.
Unfortunately,
13.
does not hit.
I'm sorry. It's 13, not 11.
A 13?
Yeah.
Yes, a 13 just hits.
Okay. 11 damage though.
11 damage. You come through.
Oh.
Yeah, wow. And you actually, as you push one off, you push that one off, and you come down with your sword, and you just impale the skull of this wolf to the ground, and you pull it out, and it slumps to the ground. You decimated this sucker.
I will say, down boy. Sick.
Down boy. All right, is that it for you?
Yeah, actually, I think that's it.
Mulgar, you're up.
Okay, how's this little wolf looking in front of me?
Like it just bit you?
That's pretty mean. I'm going to, I guess, brandish my. Sorry, I'm going to use my quarterstaff, but I'm going to use it two-handed,
Okay.
and I guess I'm going to try to strike at it.
Okay. Go for it.
Does a 24 hit?
Yeah, how'd you get a 24?
I rolled a 19, and I have a +5 to hit.
Oh, okay. I did not realize you were +5 to hit. Yeah, that definitely hits.
Okay. And since I'm using it two-handed, I get a D8. Okay, well, I didn't do that much. 4 damage.
You did more than you think. You come crashing down both hands with this quarterstaff onto the back, like where the shoulders and neck meet, and you hear it yelp as it slumps and it picks itself back up, and then a low growl once again comes at you. Elrin is going to run towards the church as well. That brings us to. I forgot to roll for them. Ismark is going to take the first attack at this guy on the left. His long sword. It's a 21 to hit. He comes through, he actually does the same thing, and not to be one-upped by Enoch, he looks over and he takes his longsword and he jams it through the neck and straight down to the ground of this wolf right here. And for his second attack, he is going to attack the other one with his short sword. That hits. And he comes through and he jabs the short sword into the ribs of this one. You hear it yelp and kind of back up a little bit, but then it steels itself again and starts going. Irina, however, is going to make a strength check there, Kaylin, and she's going to try to wrench away from you. She got a 7.
9.
She does not. You barely hold on. You feel her slipping, but she's trying to get away from you, trying to run the other way, but she cannot. She cannot. That brings us back to the wolves. Mulgar, the one you just hit, is going to take a bite at you again. Does a 15 hit?
Yep.
Dang it. Okay. You take 4 points of piercing damage. I'm glad though. Enoch, a natural 1. You look up, and this wolf jumps at you, Enoch. It actually misjudges and slips in the mud and just falls down. You hear it rolls around and gets back up, and it is covered and tattered in mud. Just covered. And then this last one's going to take a swipe at. Oh my gosh! And this one takes a bite at Ismark, and because he rolled a natural 1, Ismark is just going to put his blade out, and he bites down on the blade. You hear a crunch as one of the fangs of the wolf breaks underneath this as he bites down on the metal blade of his short sword. Wow, 2 natural 1s in a row. I'm glad I'm not actually playing and just DMing, because that would suck. Kaylin, you're up.
All right. I am going to continue to try and run towards the church.
Okay. She's not going to try to stop you this time. Kind of futile.
Mm-hmm.
You make it right there.
Okay. Can I say that I'm going to have my short sword out, and so if one comes in range of us, I will attack?
Your good hand.
Darn it. So I can't try with my bonus hand?
You
My
can,
other
but it
hand?
would count as a like a bonus action attack. So you would not add your proficiency bonus with it.
That's okay. It's just if they come near us.
Okay.
All right. That's my turn.
Okay. At that point, you all hear in the distance, or not hear in the distance, but you feel a strange presence. Fog rolls in a little more, and you hear the Kaylin, both you all hear the buzzing of flies and the screeching of bats as the fog parts, and right in front of you appears Strahd.
Crap.
And he reaches out with the hand, and he looks longingly at Irina. And he says, Tatiana, come to me. And you start feeling Irina trying to pull away from you, as if she's going towards him. He says, "No, Emma, come to me." Valentil, you're up.
All right. What am I looking at here?
You
I'm
got Wolf,
trying to interpret.
Wolf, and then
Strahd.
you would be, yeah, both you and Mulgar would have noticed out of your eye, at the corner of your eye, your peripheral, a new person appear out of the fog, and that would be Strahd.
How far away from me is he?
About 30 feet.
Okay.
30 feet to get into melee.
Yeah, I want to do that.
You sure?
Yes, I'm going to take the attack of opportunity.
5, 15, 20. Yeah, roughly.
Can my 30 feet put me between Strahd and Arena?
Absolute. Well, about right. I'll let you cut it through there.
Yeah. Okay. That's actually a little bit better because it doesn't put me in melee range.
23. The wolf,
Yeah, the 23 hits.
you take 4 points of piercing damage. As you run by, he takes a good nip at your ankle and leg. You can feel it bear down, but you grit your teeth, and
Yeah.
your boot fills with blood as you run along.
Okay. I want to cast. Now let me double check this. Am I within 10 feet of him?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I have a question for you because and I'm going to be very, very intentionally vague here.
Okay.
Spells
Bells?
have names. Spells have names that may or may not indicate to some people stuff.
Yeah.
How do we want to handle that?
Just do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because, there's different explanations to it.
Okay. I'm going to cast Arms of Hadar.
Holy crap. Okay.
So he needs to make a strength saving throw.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. What's the range or what's the distance on that? Or the area?
10 feet.
10 feet. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cocked. 22.
He saves.
Yeah.
So
But
just
if I'm not
a little
mistaken-
bit. He still takes half damage.
yeah.
So he takes 4 damage.
Okay. Okay.
So that is already halved. I rolled 8.
Okay. Good deal.
Um,
You all are pretty shocked to see these. What color are they?
they're icy
Icy.
in coloration. Yeah. So kind of like that.
Icy blue arms.
Yeah.
Erupt from the ground and all around as a misty ice storm swirls around this vampire. And these arms come out and try to grab a hold of him. He actually shatters one with one hand. And the others kind of beat on him until he just... You hear him scream in frustration as he starts shattering arms all around him. Now, it is an area of effect that still lasts its concentration, correct?
No, it's instantaneous. So it's one and done.
One and done, that's right. What am I thinking of?
I'm not sure.
A number of
Maybe in-
different things, yeah. So,
Yeah, I was going to say entangle is that way.
yeah, cool. That's awesome. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
So it takes 4 points of damage, and you have successfully pissed off Strahd.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Enoch, you're up.
Actually, I know it's not.
Stabby, stabby.
Stabby, stabby, go for it.
11.
11 unfortunately does not hit. As you come up, it has learned your downward thrust and jumps back on its back paws, and watches as the tip of your sword pierces the ground below in front of it. And if a wolf could laugh menacingly, it would. All right, Mulgar, you're up.
All right, let's see if this works.
Okay.
Bonus action, wild shape into a brown bear. I'm going to move towards Strahd, so I'll take the attack of opportunity.
Okay. Give me a second.
Yep.
So right in front of you, you all watch as your druid turns into a brown bear. And you're going to move up here because I know you've got forever movement.
I got 40 feet.
Huh?
I have 40 feet.
As a bear, does a 15 hit?
It does.
Okay. You take 7 points of piercing damage as it latches onto your front leg, and you shake it off as you charge towards him. All right. So what's your action?
I want to multi-attack,
Okay.
and I am going to bite Strahd first.
Okay. Go for it.
Natural 20,
Okay.
but it's a 26 total.
Natural 20 hits.
So I roll in double damage, right?
Yeah, go ahead and roll it and then double the damage.
Okay.
Okay, quick, I don't want to interrupt, but this is a question for moving forward. Is that how you want to do crits? We roll the number of dice and then just double the number?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless you all are unhappy with that, and then we'll talk about that after this session.
So it's going to be 10 total.
10 total.
And then you want me to do my second attack?
Yes, go for it.
All right, so I'm going to hit him with the claws.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Okay, that hits.
$11 points of slashing damage.
Okay, all right. As you go,
Is he dead?
no, you wish. As you bite and claw at Strahd, you notice that there's you bear down. You grab a hold of him with your claws, but you don't quite taste flesh. You almost taste the weird. It buzzes, and as you slash with your claws, you notice there's a red field around him. And he looks at you and smiles and takes a legendary action. And says, "You amuse me," and makes an unarmed strike. He goes for a backhand. Sounds familiar, right?
Maybe. This time it's different. I'm ready for it.
That's an 18 to hit.
Nah, I'm just getting hits.
It hits. Okay. You take 10 points of slashing damage.
How many points?
10 points of slashing. And 8 points of necrotic damage.
How many points?
8. So 18 points total. As he looks at you and says, "You amuse me," he rears back with his left hand, and you can see his fingernails, his claws, glistening in as he comes across and hits you right in your bare snout, and you feel them bite into your flesh as his hand rakes across and just wails on you with one good hit. Wow, like you're nothing. And smiles at you. Elrin is going to cast Eldritch Blast at this wolf right here. I know that hits. She casts an Eldritch Blast, and you see these. I forget what color she said her energy was, but I'm going to say purple energy come from her hands and erupt out the side of this, just blowing out this wolf's rib cage and getting rid of it. Wolf. Ismark is going to take an attack at this wolf right here. That hits. And you see him cut down another wolf. And he's going to scream, Irina, no. And run towards you all. Irina is going to try to break out of your grasp. So that's a 13.
21.
Gosh, she can't quite do it. She's pulling. She's trying to run. She's not doing well at all. She still has her rapier in her hand, and she looks at it, and looks at you, and then looks at Strahd longingly. And that's her turn. This wolf is going to let out a loud howl and run to help its master.
Attack of opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
11.
11 does not hit. We got to get you some new dice, brother. And he's going to take a bite at the bear. Does an 11 hit?
Wow, it just barely hits.
You're kidding me. That's
Yeah, they got it pretty low.
I need you to take 9 points of piercing damage.
Okay, so that puts me to 0 in bear form, so it knocks me back to human, and then I take
Is
the
there
difference.
any overlapping?
Yeah, so I'll take 3 overlapping.
Okay. You drop wild shape and you come back as your Goliath self.
That hurt.
Kaylin, you're up.
Me?
Yes.
Do I see if there's a way for us to get to the church without getting next to Strahd?
You're going to get with pretty close proximity of it.
Well then, I'm gonna stay with the party.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe pull a little further back towards the fence.
Okay.
But keep my short sword and everything
Okay. No.
ready. And that's it.
Strahd stops and he looks. And he pulls back his cloak. And he has, you see the gleaming hilt of a sword. Black hilt with a red jewel in the pommel. And he smiles, a white, toothy grin. And And he says, each of you have done so good today. You've amused me so much. And he looks past each of you. And he looks at Arena, and almost in a pained voice he says, they can't keep us apart for long. And with that, he raises his hands, and you see him, a mist swirl about him, and it fades in to this mist, and you hear a sinister laugh as he disappears. And he says, be seeing you soon, adventurers. And you look, and the wolf has disappeared as well. Arena immediately collapses in tears. Ismark, cursing wildly, puts his swords away. He says, you cannot even bury our father in peace. Damn this demon. Well, if that is what he wants, then that is what he'll get. We must get my sister to Vallaki, and then I will find a way to defeat this foul beast.
Ellen Teal steps over to Arena and places a hand on her shoulder, and then kind of comfortingly, and then steps over kind of between her and Ismark and says, your father will still be buried this night.
And she stops and looks up at you and says, thank you. I don't know what to do from here, but I will go with my brother. And as the night goes on, or as the day goes on, you all bury a shallow grave, or you dig a shallow grave and you bury Irina and Ismark's father. You're unable to get, or they are unable to get Donovich, Brother Donovich, out of the church. So Ismark just says, words be damned. And he says a few things over his father's grave and starts to fill it in. And he looks at each of you and says, we've had a long day. And a long night is what I'm afraid of if we hit the road. You're welcome at my place. You can rest there. We have food, we have drink, and we have beds that no one is using, so you are more than welcome to it. So please, join me. And as he walks away to go to the wagon, he gathers up the reins of the horse, and he jumps in the wagon and starts to pull out. So the back of it is facing you all. The mist fades away long enough for you all to see once again the large castle standing on the cliffs behind the church. You can feel a chill in the air. As from the church, you hear a wild scream and a voice say, "But Father, I'm hungry." And that's where we're going to end our session tonight.
Before we return to the mansion,
Yep.
I would like to say some sort of final rites.
Absolutely. Go for it. What do you want to say?
Just generic final rites that I would have learned in my temple. I know it's clearly not the god that they worship here.
Your temple, though, would be lacking any kind of bedside manner.
Hmm.
It's just kind of like an ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We're all going there. Peace out.
Yeah. 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 It's not clean, but it's something to
It's serviceable.
get him
Hmm.
to where he's going.
Yes. Um, you all have faced Strahd twice, and that's more than most people have that have ran this. You all are beaten, sore, bloodied, and you all have a place to stay. So you can count that as a long rest. I'm not sure if you all where you all are going from here. Um, I think my stream froze, but oh well, we're at the end of it. But I will say this. Oh no, there it goes. I had a lot of fun playing tonight, or DMing for you guys. And since you're doing a long rest, I'm going to tell you, go ahead and level up to 4.
I do have a question.
Yes.
So the voice that we heard,
Mm-hmm.
that was coming from the church, right?
Yes.
So it will. Never mind.
Ask your question.
Well, no, I was gonna say. So more than likely, we're not gonna go back to the mansion very soon. We're probably gonna go check that out.
We'll do this. If you're not going back to the mansion, we will talk about it in a second. But I'm going to end the stream. If anybody's watching, have fun. Or I hope you have